Hi everybody, welcome again to another program of Yeshiva Classroom, and we're here every week at this time, and we're going to speak about the Pew Study, which is a reputable organization that reports on trends and elections before the results are finalized in their scientific surveys. And one of the recent surveys was a study of the day school graduates, Jewish day school graduates, that it shows that 3 out of 4 of the graduates leave the fold. 3 out of 4 of the graduates leave the fold. And I have with me a very interesting young man, because he is a graduate of a day school. And now, did you learn in Israel?
Yes, I learned in Israel.
Okay. And he graduated a day school, yeshiva day school, and learned 1 year in Israel.
2 years.
2 years in Israel, and now he is back in the States, and he wants to learn continuously. As a matter of fact, he's been hired by a accounting firm, a prestigious accounting firm, and he pushed that off because he wants to learn. And I might add that, you know, he's in the shidduch category, and he is very serious about a zivig that is serious about learning, love of learning. And this is what we want to do over here before we start with Yitz. And basically, you know, there's 24 books. You know, this is an audience that is like a one-room classroom. You may have people that are completely unaware of the basics, and you have some people that are very knowledgeable. So basically, you know, we have 24 written books, divinely given books of the Torah. And one of the books is Mishlei, or Proverbs, and that is a very important book because it says over there, one of the Proverbs is, the beginning of wisdom is the fear of heaven, or the awe of heaven. The beginning of wisdom is the awe of heaven. And I want to put that in perspective because, you know, our planet Earth is just one planet that revolves around the sun. And our planet is the only one that has life on it that we have understood so far with the rockets that have gone to all the other planets. And just think, you know, every star is a sun, and every star has planets around it. That's what I got. So the point is, we're on planet Earth, and we have such complicated systems that dovetail within each other. And remember the proverb: the beginning of wisdom is the awe of God. And I just brought one thing out of my yard here today because this shows the wisdom of God. This is a dandelion plant, and basically it's people call it a weed, and the definition of a weed is a plant out of place. And you know, we don't like them. Most people, you know, they have herbicides to get rid of them, but it keeps on surviving. And how so? Because it's very intelligent. You know, this plant grows low to the ground and just spreads its leaves so it can get energy, because the leaves are full of vitamins, and people make soup out of them. But you see, it stays low, it stays very low, and when it's time to reproduce, it sticks its head up out, so it sort of knows the grass cutter's not going to cut it, And this flour turns into the mass of seeds. A mass of seeds, a ball of seeds, and each one with a parachute. Each seed has a parachute on it. And it sticks its head up because it knows the wind is going to blow. And just like every mother protects its children, so does every dandelion protects its young, and it reproduces itself. So why do I bring this up? Why do I bring this up? Because this is, I feel, that is lacking in the yeshivas. And how is that? How is that lacking? You see, before you begin a lesson, before you begin a Torah lesson or whatever book you might be reading or learning, you have to bring in something like a dandelion or something like the louse. You know the louse is, you're familiar with the louse? We don't want to deal with them, but basically it's barely can be seen with the naked eye, and it has the ability to attach itself to the host plant, to the host, a hair follicle. It has cement in it that and attach it. You can't wash it out. Only a great deal of energy to get rid of that. But in addition, that little louse is able to. It has a proboscis, which is a knife, and with that knife, this little microscopical creation, insect, I guess you want to call him. Anyway, he's able to cut the skin, and then he has an anticoagulant. He has a chemical in his body that sends a liquid into the scalp so that the scalp will not heal over, and make it easy for him to suck out the blood. And that's how he survives. Now, you're going to tell me that happened overnight? Or the people, the evolutionists, the godless people said, it took many years. It took billions and come on. That's all they can rely on, time. They said it didn't happen overnight. We evolved, just like the dandelion evolved and the louse evolved. It's ridiculous. There is a God, and God has given us the Jewish people. First, He tried to give it to Cain, to Adam, the first man, and he went astray. There was killing. He didn't listen to the instructions. And then it went downhill, and then it went into, he saved Noah, and Noah, he gave him instructions, the 7 mitzvahs of Noah, and he studied and he learned them, and before you know it, it went down. They went into astrology, ideology, and immorality, and idol worshiper, and they forgot about God. They built the temple, the Tower of Babel, and forgot about God. So now He picked another person to make this, to have rules and regulations on this beautiful life and the environment He has given man. So He picked Abraham, we the Jewish people, chosen people. Not that we're better than anybody, but we are chosen to live by the rules that He gave us, so we won't destroy ourselves. And that's the pasuk. It says in chapter 18, verse 19. It says over there, what does it say there? It says, God says, for I know Abraham will teach his children the ways of God, of charity and justice and kindliness. Again, that's in Genesis chapter 18, verse 19, in Genesis. And that's our charge. For I know, God is speaking, for I know Abraham will teach his children and his household the ways of God, of charity, kindness, and justice. That's it. We were picked. Abraham saw God saw all the good deeds on his own. He came upon the conclusion that there is a God, and he set up altars, 12:8, 13:4. He didn't offer korbanos or offerings. He gave the word to the people that there's one God, that there's one God. And that is our charge. We are the Jewish people, and unlike Adam's generations who were destroyed, or Noah's generations who went astray, but God will never annul the covenant with the Jewish people he made with Abraham. And Leviticus chapter 26:44, and when they're in exile, I will not annul, even though they reject and go against my will, I will never reject the covenant that I made with them. In Leviticus chapter 26:44, check it out. I mean, you're not here just to like a comedy hour and then we go and do no work. You have to work too. And this is a book that you got to start out with. It's called Behold the People by Rabbi Miller. This is the ideology, and even though that yes, I loaned him a book. I want him to report back to me after he does 20 minutes each week. Now we're going to talk a little bit to Yitz. Yitz, what do you want to say? What do you want to comment on, or what do you think about your yeshiva education, and why so many kids with this Pew study have gone away from being Shomer Shabbos slowly because I can't hear that well. And we want to repeat yourself to emphasize. Go ahead.
So, do you think they hear me? Am I speaking loud enough? Okay. So, it's a great question. I'm not again 100% sure. I think sometimes it could be that people were being taught certain things, and it never came from like a personal place. It was just more like this was kind of given over.
Did you notice kids going astray at what particular age, or are you analyzing kids and what they're doing, but what age did you notice people coming, your peers going away?
So it happens to be, so at an early age I definitely didn't analyze, and I would say even later I didn't analyze so much. I definitely did notice that people were not religious or observant. Definitely in high school, different stages for different people. A lot of these people I had met in high school, so I didn't really know how they were in middle school, elementary school, and they had either come in less serious or very rarely did I see someone coming in very serious, then going astray. I didn't usually see that. And usually they just weren't taking their...
Do you think it started at an earlier age at the feeder schools that fed into the high school?
So it could be, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of kids you go into a 5th grade classroom, you see all the 5th grade kids davening beautifully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't really know when it would have changed. I do definitely remember in high school people not being in the most observant, places. And I also remember people being very observant, people being very good Yidden and growing and wanting to grow and having a desire to grow. And
well, do you think that to get the ones that are not growing as we like them to grow, do you think there's some cure or some thought that you might give?
I mean, I would think, like, from my perspective, a lot of people with a strong family relationship, people close to their parents, their siblings, from my perspective, seemed to make it out okay. And I think obviously it starts at home, what you're instilling at home, and then in yeshiva, I think people need to develop a relationship with a Rebbe, someone they look up to, someone who they can reach out to when they're struggling, and this way they're kind of not in an ocean without a life jacket, you know?
Oh, the yeshivas, they have competent rebbeim, young people with a lot of want to give over Torah, but it doesn't work. And I want to tell you that what I came out with a solution, because I like to troubleshoot, and I think I have a solution to this problem of the graduates not staying within the fold. And I think the problem is, a lot of times in classes in the religious Jewish subjects, they may be daydreaming about the next class, about the secular department. They have a test going on, and they have to study for that. But I feel that the solution is where the students have got to work. And I think that the classes should be divided into like a one-room classroom, different levels, different and IQs, different ways they want to grow, and have not so much the Rebbe teaching them, but you have, say, 1 minute of the lesson, and the rest to the student to iron out. And he's not going to be that studious and want to work and to see. So what I suggest is that the student has got to email a thought to his parents once a week, at least once a week. Whether it's a kasha or a teretz or something on ideology. But every class must be started with the fact of the dandelion, right? Remember the dandelion that we have that knows how to survive, and the mother birds knows how to survive, and that's how we have to show the people the awe and the fear of God, who has given us the charge. We are a kingdom of Kohanim.
Right.
So that is the one thing. Look, I can go over to the yeshiva.
Can I just say,
sure,
from my personal experience, when I had prepared something from myself, that was the things that I remember the most, that it all had to come from when it wasn't given over, but it kind of came from an internal place. I definitely hear that very much.
Yeah, in other words, it's just not just fast track a chapter, but do a few words at when it comes to Talmud, a few words, and get we learn every week, every time we're on the air, Talmud, Talmud time, right? And we just go over 1 or 2 words. You learn brachas, you learn the Gemara brachas?
I've learned a little, I have not finished it, no.
So the Mishnah in the Gemara and the brachas says, Me'amosai, from when to when. We learned this with my students. And I want to tell you that I want to have a base of medicine of students that tune in. Torah is for everyone. That tune in here, and to have a study hall from Sunday, from 10 to 4 every Sunday, wherever you are. People recognize me. And when I go to a barbershop, forget it. They know me. They tape me. Even way out in Long Island, I was in a studio once, and the guy came over to me. I recognize your voice. So the place, we want to bring them together, but I have trouble getting a place. You say, you're a rabbi or a president, I like to rent a space, and I'll get back to you or whatever. I need help wanted. And you can call this number over here, 516-295-4233. Leave a message I'll tell you how you can help us. But the thing that we have to emphasize is, like Yitz mentioned, when he worked at it himself, that's the thing that stuck to his mind. That's what, it's like an iceberg. The Rebbe is the top of the iceberg, and underneath the water are the students, and they have to do the work. And that's what number one thing is. First, awe of heaven, the dandelion, geology, all these things showing you that we are a people under God. And God made a covenant with us. And number two, the student has got to email a thought to his parent. Forget about the parent-teacher meeting. Forget about graduation. Everybody graduates. And the parent-teacher meeting, did you ever hear anything bad said about a student? No, they're a nice boy. You got a nice boy here. Look, two things. Everybody's on scholarship. I can speak to the rabbi and say, listen, I think you should change your way to have each class introduced by a creation. Whether it's the louse, whether it's the dandelion, whether it's the geology. Have all that before, then go into the study. And the teacher Rebbe says 1 minute, and the rest of the time you have to work, imbibe it, and email it. What do you think of that system?
Very good.
What?
Very good.
I think it's a practical, pragmatic. But who's going to listen? Who's going to listen to me? Who are you? They're going to say, who are you? So that's it. Weekly email to parents. That's what you have to do. You have to parent. You have to. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. All of Hashem and email. Email to your parents so that you can discuss it with them. What does it say over there? The restore, when Eliyahu comes, he will restore the fathers to the children, and he will restore the children to the fathers. When Eliyahu comes, he will restore the fathers to the children, and he will restore the children to the fathers. So that email will do it. Now, look. People say, oh, you're so smart, you're so smart. I'm not smart, I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be humble, but the only thing that, God gave me to persevere. And, you get kids from Kansas that who knows where, and they're crazy about learning Torah, and they want to go and learn night and day. While you have other kids that have parents that are watching every move to make sure to say a bracha and they do everything correctly, and the kid gets turned off. You see, God gave every Jew a soul, S-O-U-L, and we have aptitudes. Everybody is born with a different aptitude. Some are musicians, some are scientists, some are laborers, some, everybody has a different aptitude. And he fills that soul also with the strength of commitment, spirituality. He fills that with spirituality. And that's why he gives a guy in Kansas spirituality, and what happens, he has to use that spirituality, that growth, to become serious and appreciate the study of Torah, and not go into inventing and making more and more money, and a better lifestyle. That's they're misusing that directive that God gave individuals. Do you want to add anything?
No. Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look, again, we have with our guest today.
This is beautiful.
Yes, love to learn. That's what we have to do. Love to learn. We have to love the appreciation of Torah, and that's what we have to do. And Yitz got it. He got it. You know, we go back a long time. Yitz lives in Lakewood, but now his father is a physician, and his mother is the head of the entire nursing system. So they have a lot of intelligence that went with that family. So the point is, you just, after the program, you shut it off and that's it. No, you have to get behold the people. That's where you have to start off with. And also, Behold the People by Victor Miller. It costs about $15. And that's what we have to do, and we have to speak about Torah, right? You can get an English translation of the Torah, of the first Torah, of the Talmud, right? Talmud. It says over there in Leviticus chapter 26, 46, 6 and 6, it says Toros. You familiar with that pasuk? Toros. It says in plural. And we have the written Bible, and we have the oral Bible, which explains the written Bible. Toros is written in plural. 26 in Leviticus. Write it down. 26:44.
46.
26:46. Right. 26:46. And bringing in the Gemara Brachos. May Mosai, from when to when do we say the evening Shema Yisrael prayer? From when to when? What's the time? You could say Shema Yisrael all day long, but in order to get credit, that's what we need to do. We have to get credit for what our actions are on this world, so that when the ultimate time comes to give back our soul, we have to know if we got a passing grade. Not from the yeshiva or from the day school where you passed or not. It's from God. He keeps a record. Look, it says in Exodus over there with Moshe Rabbeinu. Well, he said, if you don't forgive the Jewish people, erase me from your book. That's what he said over there. Moshe Rabbeinu in chapter 32 in Exodus. The Jews who worship, danced around the idols, so God said, I'm going to make a people out of Moshe. So Moshe said, it was a test for Moshe said, if you don't forgive the Jewish people, erase me from your book. Erase me from your book. So God said, we read this parak in the Tainus on fast days. Okay. It says Vayachel in Exodus 32. Vayachel, Moshe prayed profusely, and then V'yanachem, and then God said, I will reconsider. Now, that's what it says. He'll reconsider. He didn't say he'll forgive them, but then we find people that are evil people that are enjoying success in this world, and that's what it says in 19. I said, I will show mercy to whom I will show mercy, and I will show pity to whom I show pity. So even though you did a good job in you did a good job on this world, you got a good marks, a good book you compiled. But God says, I will show pity to whom I show pity, and I will show mercy to whom I show mercy to. That's in Exodus chapter 32, verse 19. in chapter 32, verse 17 in Exodus, he says, God said, he said, Moses complained that he didn't get, that a different angel was going to go before him. So you know, everything comes to the fore. See, when I lay down in bed, I try to think of these psukim, I try to memorize them. He said, okay, God said in 32:17, Exodus, what does he say over there? He said, I will go personally with you. And the other thing, he said, Moshe requested that we be distinct from any other people. And he said, this I will grant you also, you will be distinct. And you see, how are we distinct? When we go to and Golas, but the point is, God gave us the land. He promised us to Israel. And so the Canaan, that was a fortified country with all kinds of city-states, all kinds of powerful kings. Hashem took them out. And in front of the nations, he took out the seven nations of Canaan. And look what happened after World War II. The whole world wanted to grab that, all the quote-unquote religions wanted to grab that holy land and make it for themselves. Oh, he made Israel distinct. When you're in front of the nations, you show that you are, that God gave you the land and you're distinct. He gave it to you, a bunch of Holocaust survivors. So this is you have good feelings. What are those good feelings when you do a mitzvah? That's soul food that you're accumulating. And just a few weeks we read on Shemini, the 8th day, the temple was dedicated, 8th. And we acknowledge the 8th day because Adam was created on the 6th day, and he transgressed on the same day, on the 6th day. But then God gave him Shabbos, and it was all lichtike, it was all lit up, and he enjoyed everything and enjoyed the surroundings. And he became afraid because it was dark. He experienced night and he was afraid. So what happened? Hashem showed him how to rub the rocks together and bring fire and bring light to him. And because of that, observant Jews, I didn't even know that there was a service called Havdalah. But we commemorate that fire, that light that God gave us at the end of the 7th day, Shabbos, with the 8th day in the evening with fire. We light this beautiful candle and show the difference that fire makes and light that God gave us. Look, a man's drive is basically like a hag. A man's drive in this world is he wants happiness. He wants happiness and joy himself. And he can get that by doing the holidays that we celebrate. And he wants to accumulate. If he has 100, he wants 200. But what should he be accumulating? He should be accumulating good deeds and mitzvahs. H-A-G and glory. He doesn't want to be glorified by man. He's a smart man. He invented this, and he did great things. And we want to glorify him in the next world. H-A-G, happiness, accumulation, and glory for the next world. Let's hear what you want to say.
So happens to be my Rosh Yeshiva says on that if he has 100, he wants 200. That one of the Mefarshim there, I'm forgetting who, says that it's referring to also Torah study. That a person who's learning Torah, if they have 100, they're going to want 200. If they have 200, they're going to want 400, and 400, 800. I think some 2 mana is 4, 8, etc.
So what do you think of this study where 3 out of 4 leave the fold? I gave a suggestion that what you start every class with the awe of heaven, the fear of God, all His creations, and then you work primarily by yourself or with a friend, and then you email your thought to your parent.
There's also, I think also there needs to be a certain love for Torah instilled in the guys, and I can only tell you from my perspective, because when a person has a fire on them, you had mentioned earlier the guy in Kansas who's learning, he gets inspired, and all of a sudden he's become some big Torah scholar, and a guy who his whole life has been, parents have been on top of him to make sure he's making the proper blessings.
Yeah.
So I think what's the difference between the two guys? It might be is that the guy in Kansas he's inspired, he's excited, he wants to grow, he has a certain love for Hashem, for the Torah, for Yiddishkeit.
Do you think that's part of his soul?
It could be, but I don't think it's not part of the other person's soul. I think every Jewish person has that in their soul, that ability.
We're all created equal. We all have souls, and we want to strive for godliness. We want to strive for godliness, but I think, just like an aptitude, certain people have aptitude for fixing things and the screwdrivers, and other people don't have the slightest idea which end is a screwdriver. And some people are born musicians, they love music, they could go all night and day with music. But so that's it is with spirituality. The guy that has the parents that are so strict on his performance of good deeds, he's not going to have that drive for spirituality because he has it all together. While the guy in Kansas has no inkling of spirituality, so to speak, and he's given more of a drive, more of a ingredient in his soul. And it's like a horse race. I used to work in a horse race, and I told you about the handicap. When if each race, there's the racing form tells you about each horse, and if the horse has done bad in previous races, they take weights off his saddle and drop him down in lower class. So that's how. So when they go back after the race, they come in there with the saddle. You ever see them weigh in? You don't need it. So that's you drop in your class, and so self-study. Now, I want to show you, I want to leave this for a while. I want to show you this community of Arvern. You're familiar with Arvern?
No.
It's in the Rockaways. It's about 59th Street.
Okay.
59th Street. And my family was very instrumental and helped build this synagogue. It was the young Israel of the Rockaways. This is a picture of the Rockaways. The young Israel, but now it's a church. How did it become a church? You can sell for anything you want, but you can't sell it to a church if that's what it is. I don't know what happened. But more importantly, the people left. The young people, mobile people, left the community and went to Far Rockaway. That's about 60 blocks up. But how about the people left behind? What happens to them? We started out with Williamsburg, East New York, Brownsville, New Lots, kept on moving from one area to the other area. But in all those areas, there are people that were left behind. Now, that's what the yeshiva, in other words, in the evening, the wild ones come roaming through the street, attacking. I was on 59th Street. I was attacked while I was going in broad daylight, going to the libraries on 54th Street, I believe, the public library. So what do you think? How many Jews are there? There are dozens of Jews in Arver and Edgemere that are left behind, and no one comes out to visit them to try to move them out to a better neighborhood. And they're sending kids to New Orleans to help them rebuild the community that was destroyed by the hurricane. Well, how about going 60 blocks and interviewing those people and see if you can get them to a Jewish neighborhood? This is Arvern, 60 blocks. Hello, can you do some chesed for us? Go ahead, do you want to comment?
No, I hear what you're saying. I don't want to add anything.
Look, this is a picture of the German, World War I. You see the Willie Kaiser, that's what they named the tank after, Willie Kaiser. The Kaiser tank, and you see the pointed hats? Those are the German soldiers, but they fought for Germany, and they celebrated Hanukkah. But where are their ancestors now? Where are their ancestors now? Here they are. Here. Look at these faces over here. Look at these faces. Look at the expression on their face. Look at the face. Germans, Jews, going to the concentration camp. Look at the faces, look at the sadness, look at the fear. Round it up. We're sorry. Our people did a very big injustice. I had a friend, same age, and he came from Austria. And came from Austria over there, and the Germans they have very good systems of organizing. They know who was here and who served in the army, which group served in the army, where the person lives. They're organized in that regard. So what happened? My friend Henry and his parents won a lottery, and they were picked to come to America. Come to America, and I think they give him the survivors. So they give him I think $100 a month. They give the family. So he was invited by the president of Austria, and to come to Austria and to look at his grandfather's grave. And they knew everybody, everything, and they said, it's awful what our people did to you. It's awful, he said. Please come back, and they do come back. But the point is, it happens every historical event that they kick us out, murder us, pogroms, ghettoize, and then we're sorry. We need you. Come back. After they killed and murdered, they say, well, we did a big injustice to you. Yeah, I did big injustice. We're sorry. What's going to be the next generation and the next generation after that? Do you think they're going to remember Auschwitz, the Germans? Or anybody in Europe, the Gentiles? And that's why I'm saying, I don't need their courtesies. I want them to find the killers. They know who the Einsatzgruppe number 4 went around Germany in death squads killing people. They know who served in Auschwitz, killing and torturing, putting 10, 12 people in a little closet for 2 weeks. All the tortures that they did. I want to know who they are. I want to set up a monument to show these people, to try them in absentia, to try them in absentia, so we won't fall back to the same historical pattern. And he said, look, I'm with my friend Yitz. We first knew each other in West Orange, where his father davened in, with my son in that minyan over there in West Orange, 9 o'clock, upstairs minyan. And we sort of took a liking to each other from then on. I don't know why, but we sort of stuck close on and off, and I'm glad he's on the right path, and that's what we want to do for all the people, all the Jewish people. That's their charge, and if they don't do it, we're liable for that. It says over here, there's another Mishnah. See, I picked these psukim, these sentences. We have about 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. We picked these sentences, and I try to memorize them. He says the heart of the kings is like a hose in God's hand. He can change it in any direction. The heart of the kings, or the officials, rulers, is like a hose in the hand of Hashem. He can change them in any direction. Simple as that. And you say, well, listen, it ain't going to happen here. We have the Congress, checks and balances. If God wanted to be angry at us because we failed to adhere to His principles, we will be held accountable, all of us together. And that's what it says in 29 in Deuteronomy chapter 29 verse 28. He says, God says the sins that are known publicly I will address. Oh, no, excuse me. The sins that people transgress secretly I will address. Right? It's talking to the Jewish people. Deuteronomy chapter 29, verse 28. The people who sin secretly, I will address. But those Jews that outwardly transgress, it's for you and your children to carry the Torah to them. It's for you and your children to carry the Torah to them. Remember the pasuk? Chapter 29, 28. 29, 28. I'm not, I just review, I start with this chapter, that chapter. And I like to, look, anti-Semitism. Yeah, Jews control the world. Oh, we got the balance and power. Jews have everything. They control. They have a conspiracy. And who's our number one enemy? Biden. Biden and his Jewish puppets. Nides and Blinken. Nides, Ambassador Nides, the American ambassador to Israel. He said, if Smotrich was on the plane, I'd throw him off. You know who Smotrich is? No. That's politics. That's Jewish politics. He head of the religious Zionist party, and he got 14 seats. 14 seats. And Nides, these are the puppets of Biden. The Nides. He says, if Smotrich was on the plane, I'd throw him off. That's how they interfere in Israeli politics. Interfering in Israeli politics. And that's what where we're standing today. But today, everything turned around. Oh, Biden, our bond with Israel is unshakable. It is rock solid. The State Department, we want a two-state solution. Whose business is it of theirs what they want Israel to have a two-state solution? If anything, the United States, we Americans, this is a flag of an Indian nation. There must be about over 100 different tribes in Israel. They stole in America. They stole the land from them. That's what they should be addressing. The State Department. Give back what they stole. You know, Ben and Jerry. What about Ben and Jerry?
They boycotted.
You're boycotting Ben and Jerry. But what did Ben and Jerry do? They have their farms in Vermont, and there was an Indian tribe living there, Abel, A-B-E-L, and they drove the Indians out of Vermont over the border. Give back Vermont and the land they stole from the Abel tribe of Vermont, and to think that Biden, he came to Israel a year ago, and he with his car limousine that they took on the plane, and he rode around, and when he went to an Arab section, which is actually the state of Israel, he took the flags off the car and put a Palestinian flag on it. Such chutzpah. Oh, but now people forget. But now, you know, documents on World War II are still classified. What America knew, how they could have helped the Jewish people, they're still classified. You want to say anything? Look, the commemoration of the Warsaw Ghetto, right? Who helped us? You know, Begin went to Biden. You know, he asked for aid. There's an 82. You know, Biden was a senator of the head of the Foreign Aid Committee, Foreign Affairs, and Begin came to him, and he says, I don't come to you like the, I don't want to repeat it. Look, this is the Warsaw Ghetto. The Warsaw Ghetto. When they liquidated it, they marched the people to the cattle cars directly to Auschwitz because they revolted directly. They didn't die little by little. Here they are. Never had a chance. But anybody who dies because he was convicted of being Jewish, that person earns the next world automatically. So what do we hear? You're going to knock yourself out. Knock yourself out to get a bigger house, bigger belongings, newer car. Yeah, come on. What's that going to do for you? Then you come down with, God forbid, pancreatic cancer done in a week. All kind of illnesses. And what are you going to do with it? Yeah, what are you going to do with that? Move on to the next. Look, I'm here with a yeshiva day school graduate who learned 2 years in Israel.
Yeah.
And in addition, now he was accepted by a prestigious accounting firm. He's going to pass his CPA in a month. But he told his employer that I'm pushing off Torah I'm pushing off work till I'm going to be still learning. And that's how it is. You know, I do shidduchim, and you know, Kolev is in dental school. You know, so there's a professor that it says we think we're related, and bottom line, we are related somehow along. But the point is, he has 11 children, B'yayin Hara, this son, and one of the girls is looking for a shidduch, and he says she wants someone who sits and learns, not looking for riches and all that things, the new cars and new houses and new appliances and TV. So we want we want help wanted. That's what we need. We need to get a place where we can bring us all together. Learning Torah is a good tazah. Olam haba. Oh no,
That's the best.
Olam haba. The next world is a good place, but learning Torah is greater. Varfa vek yeda yoch. You know what that means? Varfa vek. Throw away every yoke. Again. Olam. What? Learning Olam haba is a good zach. Learning Torah is a better zach. Varfa vek yeda yoch. Throw away every yoke. Learning Torah, nach. Yeah. So, what do we do? I don't know. What does it say? Help wanted. Yeah. We're trying to get a place that and yours truly will greet you from 10 to 4 on Sundays. We need a place. Here's our number: 295-4233. You say, oh, we got about 5 minutes, man. You're gonna make a mention of something. You want to say any thought out there to the unaffiliated, the people that left the fold, to come back. Who can stand in the Daled Amos of the repentant? No one can buckle up to his shoes. One that returns to the fold. What do you want to say?
No, I just wanted to say, did you go by Mr. Glick here?
Slowly, what?
You go by Mr. Glick here?
You have to say it again.
You go by Mr. Glick here?
No.
So, no.
Just don't forget to call me for...
They have a very good teacher, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah, no, the point is you have to work. You have to work yourself. And that's the name of the game. And that's where we accumulate good marks. So help one to give us a call. Remember Talmud Torah anytime. Talmud Torah anytime. Me'emosai Korah Neshama B'Arvi, from when to when, or the times of saying Kriya Shema to get credit for Mishah Shakonim Nichnosim Le'echol Betrumo, from the time that the Kohanim entered to eat their Truma. Well, what time is that? And it says when the 3 stars come out.
Yeah.
But why didn't it write the 3 stars come out? Because Agav Orcha, it wants to teach us by the way. It wants to teach us things by the way. Like, what is Truma? What is Truma? If you have 100 bushels of apples, you got to give 2% to the Kohen. Look, what am I doing? These are the basic things, and I try to memorize them, and sometimes they slip away if we go too long without memorizing them. So you go back, and that's it. And when you fall asleep, and forget about the Phillies. So look, here's a great guy. It's such a humble guy, such an intelligent guy, and nobody wants to do a picture with me. Who's going to do it? But he was here. He came and broke up his schedule. We have about 3 minutes. He broke up his schedule to come out and to bring the people in. But if you find, look, I was in Reuven's. Oh yeah, I want to tell you about fish. Fish, and my fellow neighbors. You see, I can't mention the name, but most of the stores sell salmon at $13 and $14 a pound. Now, I came across a store in the Five Towns area that sells fish for $8.45 a pound with hashgacha. I can't give you the name of the supermarket, but that's $5 a pound, and they have a large fountain behind Hara. You have to shop around. There are differences in prices. $5 a pound in salmon. So, look, where's that book? I get that book out. Behold the people. They have so many directors and all kinds of of help putting lighting in and putting
Yeah.
putting everything together. And what do we have? We have
Oh, there it is.
we have yours truly over here. So yeah, no, we can't leave the camera. Yeah, Behold the People. Here it is. Behold the People by Rabbi Miller. Now I loaned you the book, but the Torah, and you're gonna pick it up. So when you gonna? I want 20 minutes a week.
A week, yeah. Clean up, yes.
And you start with shoftim, judges,
Yeah.
and just go slowly. I'm not gonna ask you how much you try to. And you know, a brain is a tremendous organ. The brain is such a tremendous organ, and you can use it, you can make so many good things out of it. But order the book, Behold the People, and you have to work. And you just can't say, well, to the end of the program, I'll go on something else. No, you have to work at it, you have to memorize. He gives you psukim, sentences that are, right?
Yeah.
So you can use them all the time. So with that, I'm going to end our program and wish everybody a very happy day and a very happy week.